victory for Miguel Cabrera.
Bottom line is, man, it's hard to break us now. It's hard to break us. As a matter of fact, you ain't going to do it.
Open look, Gomez, he hits it.
What a play called by Tom Izzo in that timeout.
I was 7 years old watching a football game by myself, and I saw those winged helmets come out of the tunnel, and I was hooked at that point.
Kane in Chicago. Oh my God. Kane with the overtime winner.
Jameer Gibbs to the end zone. Touchdown, Detroit Lions. You can't cover that man one-on-one. You just can't do it.
He drives, lobs to JD for a jam.
You play real good, you start. You don't play as good, you work your way back in. It's the American way, except America has gotten soft. But that is the American way. That's the way it works.
This is the 6'6" Kane Cunningham. Jameson Williams, he's got it. Touchdown, Lions.
This is a good day. I hope you had a great weekend, but this is a fantastic day. Monday, yes. Mondays with Mitch, sure. 8:18, Heroes and Heels, you bet. But even better, because Andy McDonald is back with us to celebrate and a new chapter in his life. Welcome back, Andy.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And yeah,
all right. So let's set the stage a little bit. Andy McDonald will not officially, but unofficially is off the market, ladies. How did it go?
I'm sure everyone's devastated about that. But yeah,
there's got to be somebody out there who's a little devastated about it.
Yeah,
somebody has to be scratching her head right now. How did I let this big fish get off my hook?
I don't know. I don't know about that, but yeah, this is actually the first time I've had to talk about it publicly at all because I tried to keep it as quiet as I could.
I didn't give anything away, did I?
No, you didn't. Nobody did. Trust me. That like the closer it got, the worse it got for me with that part of it. It was just like, oh my gosh. So for anybody that didn't know, I just got engaged to my now fiance. I'm still getting used to saying that too.
Yeah,
that's a thing. Like the whole week, it was just her and I out west because I did the proposal at the beginning of the trip. I was out at Glacier National Park out there in Montana. And I organized the whole thing with some of her friends. She just turned 30. So she had a 30th birthday party this past weekend with some of her friends, organized the whole thing to where I could go propose to her on the Sunday when she thought I was coming on Monday. So I went on Saturday night. I flew out there, stayed in a hotel, and her friends and a photographer picked me up. We did the hike before them. And then afterwards, they did the hike after. I was doing pretty good the whole day, not being like nervous or anything like that until it started to get like, because the hike only took us, we purposely picked a pretty easy one with a good view. So it wouldn't be like tough for her to get there. And it was taking forever after her friend had said they started the trail. And not even just me, like her friends were feeling that way too. So I was like,
so it wasn't just you and her. It was, this was a collaborative effort. Okay.
Yeah, we did. I definitely thanking her friends for sure, because it wouldn't have been able to be possible without her to actually make it a surprise like that. She her friend had to get her on the hike to do it with me. But yeah, it worked out really, really well. They still we had a photographer who was like a decent distance away, and then her other friend just recorded the video for me that went with me. And then her other friend just kind of stayed back because when she saw me, she was like, "What the heck? Like, what are you doing here?" And she just thought I might have came really to surprise her for her birthday at first. And then, I did the whole thing where I kind of moved her over to the right spot where I knew the photographer get it good. And I said what I said. And yeah, I proposed. So,
all right. So help me through this. You used two of her friends to lure her to this location.
Yeah, basically. Well, one of them actually met with me. So I met them in the town it was only like an hour away from the national park that we went and hiked at. I met one of her friends in a gas station parking lot. She got in my car, drove with me. And the photographer, the photographer met us in the parking lot of the hike. And then her friend got her to the same hike an hour later. And then she got to the end of it, and I was just there, just standing there. She was like, "What the heck?" Kind of confused. So yeah, did the proposal. She wanted a photographer and stuff like that. That was her. I'm not trying to talk myself up, but that was her dream proposal, literally. So, and obviously she's from Idaho and she went to school out there in Montana. So she moved here to work for the Grand Rapids Griffins. For people that don't know, she's the assistant athletic trainer there. So that's how, things got going for us. So the whole deal was if I did the proposal out there, she'd be way more okay with getting married here in Michigan. So that was the good part about it. But yeah, overall it was great. Did it at the beginning of the trip, so it made the rest of the trip just awesome because the rest of the week
were there any nerves whatsoever that she says no?
No, not a chance.
Right.
I didn't think that way, but what started making me nervous is that they went the wrong way in the hike. Like I was standing there at the end, like, oh my gosh, are they actually going to show up, or am I going to have to find a way to like redo this or do it differently? And that would have been a complete pain. But then when she started walking up, like I don't know, it was that's when it started to get really nervous for me. You know, everybody says like you have like a plan of what you're going to say. I had it like in my head, but yeah, I definitely blacked out a little bit because I said like the first 5 words and then just got nervous and just said what I said after that. So what was
the rest of the week like? I mean, I would hope it was
amazing, man. See that's the thing for me. Actually, what made it special for me, Glacier National Park is a spot I've always wanted to go to. I love hiking just as much as she does, but she grew up in that area, so she knows like everything out there, and that's a spot that I've always wanted to visit. And I'm telling anybody out there listening right now that hasn't been there, go, because it's unbelievable, man. It's stunning. Like the different hikes we hiked to a couple of different glacier lakes. I've sent you some of the pictures. The color of the water is just literally surreal. Like in person, it's unbelievable what it looks like. We hiked a total of 45 miles in 4 days. So
okay.
So yeah, we did a decent amount of work with that part of it. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. So actually getting up early isn't too tough to me because we had to get up at like 5 a.m. to get there to some of the parks early enough to do that kind of stuff.
Do you feel differently now? Now that Andy McDonald's engaged, do you feel differently?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess it really is. It was kind of like last night when we were going to bed. It was like, wow, all right, we're just on life now and we're engaged. So that, like the whole thing is crazy. Obviously we're trying to plan the wedding within a year. And her only off season, like for sure, is in July and August. So that'll be a challenge for us. We're gonna have to try to find somewhere to do it at. But yeah, so it definitely feels real. The wedding parting plan of it will be the next stressful step in a way of planning things. But I'm excited to do it. She makes everything easier, so I'm lucky. That's for sure.
Well, it's well done and properly said. She's a lucky woman and you're a lucky guy. So happy for you. Super pumped that that was able to get pulled off without any strings, and the fact that you survived, she survived.
Yeah, I could have been one of those stories that like it was one of those horror stories or something like that. But yeah, her friends really helped me pull it off in the way that made it possible. So I'm thankful.
Yeah, you need other people in your life. You need them, the important people. Those are the people she trusts, and now you're in that circle as well. That's awesome stuff. Well, glad you're back, my friend. Unfortunately, you didn't change much luck for the Tigers.
No, I sure did.
Royals scored 2 in the 8th on a Michael Massey homer to trim the Tigers 5-4 and get a weekend split. What did I say last week? I said, listen, folks, just because the Royals are in town without Bobby Witt Jr., the Orioles follow, and then the A's, who has been Detroit's biggest nemesis? It's been teams under 500. And quite honestly, the Royals have played them exceptionally tight. Every single game this past weekend was a one-run affair. 12 consecutive meetings between Detroit and Kansas City have been decided by 2 runs or fewer. So that's why you can't count your wins based on what other teams are doing right now. Kevin McGonigal did go 2 for 4. He was on base 3 times. That's not a surprise. Although in the 9th, with runners at first and second and nobody out, okay, not that you're going to bunt him. I wouldn't do that. A.J. Hinch doesn't believe in that stuff, and I don't either, okay? Not a great at-bat. It just wasn't a great at-bat. And then Gleyber Torres, who everybody told me when he comes back, everything's going to change. This is what they've missed because he's been hurt. He's been struggling as of late, wave and a miss on 3 pitches. And then finally,
yesterday,
0 for 5. And then Riley Green, cutter, just can't find it. And Detroit ends up blowing an opportunity in the 9th, perhaps blowing an opportunity overall. Dylan Dingler went 2 for 4 with a couple of RBIs. Framber Valdez lasted just 5 innings, allowing 3 runs, 4 hits, and 3 walks. And that's the latter is the biggest issue. It's really troubling to me. I think it's gone under the proverbial radar. Everybody's looking at his wins and losses and so on and so forth. The walks by Framber Valdez are a problem. The number of pitches needed to get through 5 innings is a big problem too. He threw 97 pitches to get through 5 innings. It's been the bane of his existence in Detroit. Oh, so frustrating. We'll get to the relief pitching situation, who they got tonight, and other sports news. Glad you're with us as we begin a week. It's Mondays with Mitch at 7:18, Hero and Heel at 8:18. We're brought to you this hour by Andy McDonald, who is now owner of a fiance. Yeah, that's pretty cool. And Mitch Lyons Well. Stay with us.
Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth, where we create your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. I'm here with Tiger legend Kirk Gibson, who we are proud to support and partner with on the newly opened Kirk Gibson Center for Parkinson's Wellness.
Thanks, Mitch. We appreciate your support, and we are excited to have recently opened the center in Farmington Hills. It provides exercise therapy and educational programs that are helping the Parkinson's community, just like Mitch Lyons Wealth helps improve the quality for their clients' retirements. This center helps improve the quality of life for people with Parkinson's.
And Gibby, the best part of all is that access to the center is available to the Parkinson's community free of charge, right?
That's right, absolutely free of charge for people with Parkinson's and their care partners.
You hit a couple of the most famous home runs in Major League history, Gibby, but I feel that your greatest hit will be the positive impact the Kirk Gibson Center is making in the fight against Parkinson's.
Mitch, since my diagnosis, I get up every day and focus on winning that day. This center encourages others to do the same.
Awesome, Gibby. To learn more, go to kirkgibsoncenter.org.
Hi, it's Matt Shepard, host of X's and Bros Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, the Tigers and I want to send you to a Tigers home game every Wednesday. We're offering you Tiger Tuesdays, where you watch the Tiger game on Tuesdays on Detroit Sports Net. They'll give you a keyword to text to 21,000. You listen to my show Wednesday morning, and at 7:50, we'll pick a winner and give you 4 tickets to a Tigers game and $100 in free play at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Must be 21 or
I felt great. Not good. I felt great. Yeah. And other than I know the way it ended, it feels hollow. But that's exactly the guy we want in there against those guys. And in that situation with the explosive fastball that he has, he's fun to break the ball middle down, and Massey didn't miss it. But that ball pops up to right field, and we're loving that outing of how he got through getting what we're losing 4 outs. So it's tough when it flips the game like that, but I love Drew in that spot.
Welcome back, X's and Bros, Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. That's AJ Hinch following the game. And the question regarding Drew Summers, why do you go with Drew Summers? You've got to ask the question. That's fine. But here's the other thing you've got to understand. It is easy to suggest you shouldn't have gone to him because it didn't work out. Okay? But here's what you do have to understand going in. Drew Summers had gone, let's see, it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 consecutive appearances without giving up a run. He had only given up earned runs twice in his 21 appearances. Against the Yankees on June 29th in a 7-3 win, he gave up the 3 runs. Okay. And against Texas on July 2nd, where he had given up 3 runs in a 10-4 loss. AJ Hinch is not one of those guys who manages strictly based on numbers. It's a feel and numbers. I am not a big believer in everything that is analytics. If you don't believe there's a place in the game, I would ask you if you've ever used numbers to support an argument. I would ask you if you've ever used numbers to support why you would do something or would not do something. That, to a certain extent, is analytics. Now, I'm not telling you that if I send Andy McDonald to the plate, I'm going to tell him 60% of the time Chris Bubich is going to throw a slider to start your at-bat, so look for slider. That gets, I think, a little bit mind-heavy. The constant looking at the iPad, the constant looking at the numbers. Okay? There's a place for it, without question. Matchups are important. I believe we do it all the time, do we not? Cade Cunningham's got a smaller guard on him. Take advantage of it. Jalen Duren's posting up. He's got a smaller guy on him on a switch. Take advantage of it.
Yeah, I'm going to St. Brown against a cornerback that just came in because somebody got injured. Like it's
or Sam Laporta's matched up with a linebacker.
Exactly.
Go take
you do
advantage
it in every
of
sport
it.
for sure.
Oh, we do it in every single sport. All right. You've got a forward trying to get back on D. You're going to try to take him? Absolutely, you would. So you're going to push the rush. This happens all the time. The use of Drew Summers, AJ Hinch would know based on his matchups if it was the right one. It's then up to the player to execute the game plan. And he didn't do it. So the Tigers lose. They're going to welcome the Orioles to town for a 3-game series that begins tonight. Cater Montero gets the first game. He's going to battle Kyle Bradish. Then it's Troy Melton, and then it's Tarek Skubal. Remember last week I said, well, all these people were saying this could be Tarek Skubal's last start as a Tiger. Well, I said, he's going to make another start at home for sure. And might even make another start before the trade deadline. 2 starts before the trade deadline. So it's a little overreactionary, all right? Jackson Koiven wins the 3M Open at a record-setting 25 under par score overall. What? Who's Jackson Koiven? Well, it's his first PGA Tour win. It's his 3rd ever PGA start as a pro. because he made some starts as an amateur. He's 21 years old. He's a graduate of Auburn. They won 2 national championships with him at the helm. He won every individual golf award this past year and good enough to hold off Scotty Scheffler, who, by the way, shot an 8 under 63. Scotty Scheffler shot an 8 under 63, and I'm sure Andy was on his way back from proposing to his beautiful girlfriend, now fiance. Scotty Scheffler had a chance to shoot probably a 59, if maybe even a 58.
Yeah, no, she did drive a majority of the day yesterday, so I got to watch the Tigers and that. I was watching stuff.
That must have been a hell of a conversation in the car. Anyway,
yeah,
Scotty Scheffler missed two putts within 5 feet. Was close to another one that was about 11 feet long, and yet he was still able to shoot an 8 under 63. He could have easily gone double digits yesterday. Now, I don't know if that would have been enough. It might have changed Koiven's attitude toward the back few holes of his. He played a pretty safe, I would say, on 18. I would too. It was smart. Anyway, the kid was rock solid. He's going to play at the Rocket Mortgage this week. As training camp looms within 24 hours, tomorrow's Win Veterans Report, the Lions have placed Brian Branch, Ty Conklin, and Kirby Joseph on the PUP list. It's not a huge deal yet. They can be taken off anytime. But if they begin the season on the PUP list, they miss the first 4 weeks. What's interesting about this, this is where athletes get in trouble with their social media accounts. What's interesting about this is that Kirby Joseph wanted to tell everybody who would listen he wasn't going to start the season on the PUP list, or he wasn't going to be placed on the PUP list.
He wanted to make a bet with people. That's what he said.
And he would have been wrong. Here's the Mitch Lyons Wealth poll question of the day. Andy's already tweeted it out. I've retweeted it. What are the Tigers lacking most? A true closer? Remember, they spent money in the offseason to get Kenley Jansen. Relievers, that's very generic, but it's something that I think a lot of people feel like they're sorely missing. Right-handed power? Torkelson and Dingler have given you a lot of that so far. Or everyday players. Because I think a lot of people, correct me if you think I'm wrong here, Andy, you and your buddies when you talk, I think a lot of people are tired of looking at guys who are part-time players.
Yeah.
I would remind you yesterday. Cole Keith is considered an everyday player. Kevin McGonigal's an everyday player. Gleyber Torres is an everyday player. Riley Green's an everyday player. Dylan Dingler's an everyday player for the most part. What a catcher can be, right? I mean, how many starts do you need to be an everyday player? That's a good question. But I mean, you look at Dylan Dingler, he's going to end up playing close to 150 games. That's the projection.
I call that every day from his position.
Yeah, I think so. For his position, yeah. He's played in 97 games out of 106. So they played 106 games. He's played 97 of them. That's pretty damn good. All right. Put it in context. Salvador Perez has played 99. So just FYI. All right. That helps you. Spencer Torkelson's an everyday player. They had Hao-Yu Lee, who probably should be an everyday player. He's bumped the batting average up to 275. He's been incredible.
Yeah, he's been one of their biggest bats lately.
He really has. So you basically had Outman and Carpenter in the lineup yesterday who weren't everyday players. Problem is you're replacing them with non-everyday players. Zach McKinstry, Ben Malgeri, things like that. Anyway, you can vote as often as you want at XB Mornings. We'll give you the results in the 8 o'clock hour tomorrow. We'll talk a little bit about the Tigers game from last night in a 1-run loss to the Royals and still where they are in the standings. And that's the frustrating part of all of this, a chance to make up ground, and they just can't seem to do it. They are 6 games back in the division, and in the wild card, they are a team that sits 3.5 out of the final wild card spot. This is X's and Bros on a Monday morning, brought to you by Mitch Lyons Wealth.
We go together. The Jonas Brothers. I'm a sucker for you. The greetings from your hometown encore. The Soaring Eagle Outdoor Concert Series. Special guests, boys like girls. Tickets for the Jonas Brothers start at $67 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com. Hang out with the Jonas Brothers and Boys Like Girls August 5th at Soaring Eagle Casino. SoaringEagleCasino.com.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sportsnet. Sign up like the Ute Show did with the Detroit Sportsnet Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
Shop the Meijer 7 for 7 sale and make your next shopping trip a good deal better. Through August 4th, pay just $1 each when you mix or match any 7 or more items. Summer fresh favorites like seedless mini cucumbers, red, yellow, or orange bell peppers, and select varieties of Oikos Light and Fit or Chobani yogurt, Kraft mac and cheese, Powerade, or sparkling iced beverages. Getting more for your money with the Meijer 7 for 7 sale through August 4th. That's good life quality and real low prices. Only at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See the Meijer app for details.
Hi, it's Matt Shepard, host of X's and Bros Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, the Tigers and I want to send you to a Tigers home game every Wednesday. We're offering you Tiger Tuesdays, where you watch the Tiger game on Tuesdays on Detroit Sportsnet. They'll give you a keyword to text to 21,000. You listen to my show Wednesday morning and at 7:50, we'll pick a winner and give you 4 tickets to a Tigers game and $100 in free play at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Must be 21 or over to win.
Yeah, just we had opportunities. I think the 4 of the last 5 innings we had the leadoff runner on. We had the one big inning. We didn't capitalize on having some traffic in the latter innings. We got beat by a 2-strike soft contact and a 2-strike homer. That's what it feels like. I mean, there are many, many things in this game that could have swung it either way, but opportunity lost in this series.
Well, when you leave 9 on base and you go 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position, that's going to happen. Kansas City went 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. So it's not the be-all. It doesn't tell you everything, but it tells you part of the story. A.J. Hinch, after his team's 5-4 loss last night. What part of you – I'm wondering how people feel about this. Because I, quite honestly, don't always know how to feel. I feel like it's a missed opportunity. If teams in front of you are losing and you lose, do you look at it like, hey, at least we're not losing ground?
Not with where the Tigers are at right now. That's not how it felt yesterday. That's for sure.
Right. Or do you look at it like, you know what? The teams in front of us are losing. We're missing an opportunity. I look at it as the latter.
Right before the deadline? Yeah, with where they're at? Yeah.
Well, it's not even just that. It's time, place, and moment. The timing of the season, like you just said, close to the trade deadline. The place is at home when you get to your final at-bats. It's whom you're playing. And let's be honest, it's how you've been playing as of late. The expectations all change. If this were May, we probably shouldn't feel all that surprised because they had a really bad May. They've been really good since June. Let's not fool ourselves. Don't try to act like you're supposed to win every single game. Because you're not.
No, not at all.
Okay.
And
anybody who feels that way is not living in reality.
No, and it's one thing to be positive and say like they've been playing better, but the reality is their situation is where they put themselves because of May. So like we've been saying this for a while.
That's right. I mean, who would let me ask you this. Do you think people in Los Angeles today are pissed because the Mets beat the Dodgers?
I mean,
and if you look at records wise, you would say that's ridiculous.
Yeah, right.
How about in Chicago where the Pirates beat the Cubs? If you look at record-wise, you'd say it was ridiculous. How about Washington over Arizona? They're talking about trading perhaps James Wood, maybe C.J. Abrams with Washington, and yet they go out and they win. This is what happens in baseball, and the reaction, and social media doesn't help, the reaction is sometimes painful. You know what? How can you not see this team has to trade everybody? Wherein 2 days ago, after a Friday night win, they win Thursday, they win Friday. Friday's like, hey, all I know is we got to add. That's what you get into when it comes to
constant back and forth of baseball. It's what it is.
It's relentless, and it's at times nauseating. But I would tell you this. There are deep concerns, and we have every right to be concerned. Detroit is 12-19 in one-run games. They have blown 24 saves. They have 21 saves. They've blown 24. They have now lost, and that's the most, by the way. The 24 saves are the most in the league.
That would not surprise me,
no
matter what.
The Tigers have now lost 17 games this year where they have led in the 7th inning or later. 17. By far, I shouldn't say by far and away, the most of anybody in baseball. San Francisco has 14. Washington has 14. Kansas City has 13. The Angels have 13. What do all these teams have in common? San Francisco, Washington, Kansas City.
Losing records.
And the Angels. If you were a betting man today,
not great.
And I'm not, Andy is, you would say, what? They're not making the playoffs. Now, Washington's a couple of games over 500. Perhaps they are. San Francisco, all these other teams, they're not making the playoffs. The A's are not making the playoffs. They have 12. Pittsburgh has 12. They're not making the playoffs. The teams that don't have many blown saves, Texas, which is interesting, isn't it? Texas only has one blown save so far this year. That's why they lead the division. Now, they're only a game above 500, but they lead the division. Philadelphia, just 2 blown saves all season long. They're second in their division. Boston, just 3 blown saves all year long. They are in one of the driver's seats when it comes to the playoffs or the wild card. All right. So you've got, I mean, you can skew numbers, and I can skew them all I want, because there are some teams that have done a really good job of not blowing saves. Mason Miller with San Diego, he's not blowing saves, man. But San Diego doesn't look like they're making the playoffs. It's one of many problems the Tigers have. That's all. If you're looking at what is their biggest problem, that is among the things that you and your friends are going to discuss.
Yeah, I mean, no question. Coming into the season, like I get it. There's a lot of other problems with this team, but coming into the season with how the team was built, I think you felt like the bullpen was going to have to be a strength for this team to win games, because you felt like they were going to have to win a good amount of close games with their pitching. That's, at least it's what it felt like to me looking at their roster coming into the year. So them losing in 12 and 19 in the one-run games, is that what it is?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not going to do it for this team.
And obviously one coincides with the other when it comes to seventh inning or less, because usually, they're close games down the stretch. The thing about this is you're getting closer and closer. They were within, over the weekend, after they won Friday night, they were within 1.5 of the final wild card spot. Now they're 3.5 back, which isn't a massive thing to overcome. Stop looking at it like August 3rd. If we're not there yet, we're in trouble, because that's not always the case. You've got all of August. You've got all of September. I would remind you of a couple of years ago when they actually did well after the trade deadline. The difference here is who they're trading, of course. Trading Jack Flaherty a couple of years ago to the Dodgers does not mean automatically that you could equivalate that to Tarek Skubal and or Casey Mize and or Gleyber Torres or anybody else. All right? So we've got to keep that in mind. But this is a team. Look, Zach McKinstry gets thrown out at third base yesterday.
Crazy decision.
Well, it seems like it, doesn't it? Because I thought the same thing. But can we just try to look at things objectively here? This team, since AJ Hinch took over, has been very aggressive on the base paths.
Yep, so they're known for. That's why it's hard to get mad at them about the effort.
It's one of the things they're known for. Zach McKinstry doesn't have great wheels. I mean, all these people would think, oh, my God, this guy's got a great, he's so fast. I think he's got one stolen base. Seriously, look it up. I'll have to look that up.
Picked off at first base 3 times, too. I think that's what kind of added to him getting thrown out at third yesterday, is that there's already been some times this year where he's cost him an out on the base path. But
that's I didn't realize that. But that's a problem. But
they've been picked off 6 times at first base this year, most in the major leagues. He's been picked off 3 times.
Oh my God. That's a great nugget. Thank you for that. But he's only got 1 stolen base. So it's not like he's got wheels. No one's confusing him with Willie McGee or Willie Wilson or Ron LaFleur or Ty Cobb, Ricky Henderson, Lou Brock, or anybody like that. Okay. But they've got to make a perfect throw to get him, don't they? Seriously. I mean, that's what.
I do understand that. Yeah.
So that's what you have to keep in mind. Now, these are pros. These are supposed to be the best of the best. So when they tell you got to make a perfect throw, a lot of these guys are used to making. And let's face it, it's from center field. It's not in the right field corner.
Right.
It's from center field. That was not a long throw. Is that on McKinstry? Is that on the third base coach? Is that on a combination? Great question. But base running, be honest, has not been as good as it has been in the past.
Yeah, I think that's what it was for most people, is the situation in the game and where the ball was hit. Like it was questionable for him to run for that, I feel like.
But I think you're right about that. Like I said, I had a problem with it too. Going first to third on a play right in front of you, to me, doesn't make a lot of sense. It just doesn't, especially when there's 1 out.
Yeah, Torkelson I think finally gets the single too, and you need him to, and then just
Now
that's what happens.
Now, AJ Hinch said, remember, I mean, the left field is huge. And he said afterwards, look, if he's safe, we're all loving life. If not, it's a tough out. So him going, testing the Collins's left center field, testing Collins's arm there, I think is it's understandable. I just wouldn't have done it with 1 out. Okay, that's all I'm telling you.
No,
So
and I
didn't
get
like
that, but like that's the thing, some people like obviously, Cora's gone and not the base coach anymore. People got upset about him being obviously way too aggressive at times. There's multiple examples where that wasn't a thing. A couple innings before this, How You Lee ended up scoring because they ended up scoring runs that inning anyway. But I don't know if you saw that when he rounded third and had to like slide and come back as they stopped him.
Yeah.
That's a play that people would have been complaining about if the Tigers didn't end up driving those runs home that inning. So you got to keep that part of it in mind too. I feel like there's so many different examples with base running where it's like you always think you're right when the decision doesn't go that way, and it's hard to say. But that this one I feel like with McKinstry does have some validity just because of where the ball was hit and the situation in the game. Like you ran into a pretty obvious out there. It felt like
And considering the struggles you've recently had, maybe you're trying to manufacture something. Maybe you're trying to push the envelope and give your team something. Okay.
Yeah.
I can at least understand that mindset. Detroit goes 2 for 9 with runners in scoring position Sunday, 1 for 11 on Saturday.
Yeah, it was 6 for like 36 or something this week.
Yeah. So there's a serious issue there when it comes to that. But we've seen that a lot of this season. Another part of it is, what are you getting from your right field? When Ben Malgeri came up and had that great debut, everybody was super excited. Right-handed stick, maybe more power. How many times did we take a text or somebody saying, let's bring these guys up? Because we think that the numbers at AAA are going to translate immediately to the major league level. Because it's happened for certain guys. How You Lee, it has happened to a certain extent, did it not? Dylan Dingler last year when he made his debut. Kevin McGonigal this year. Well, oftentimes those are exceptions more than those are rules. There's going to be an adjustment period. And that has happened. We're not getting a lot, and I say we as in Tigers fans are not getting a lot out of right field. Okay? Kerry Carpenter continues to struggle. And I'm not saying that you've got to be somebody who feels like give up on him by any stretch. He's dealing with an injury. A lot of players do at this time of the year. He goes 0 for 2 yesterday. So I believe now, correct me if I'm wrong here, Andy, he's like 6 for 52 in the month of July.
No, it's been a really bad stretch for a really long time now. Feels like.
Okay. So I would ask you this. If there is, and I like Kerry Carpenter as much as anybody else. First of all, he's a wonderful guy. He gives you left-handed power, which I like. It's interesting how quiet people get about the lefty on lefty thing now. The on base percentage is 27.5. Okay. Those are concerning numbers. If I said to you, this player, let's just put any other name in front of it, any other whipping dog that Tigers fans have had in the past. If I said this player hits 130 against a specific armed pitcher, would you want them batting against that specific armed pitcher?
Everybody would tell you no. There's no question about that.
That's what he's hitting against lefties this year, 130. And before you go, well, he's getting an opportunity. He's not getting as many opportunities. How many opportunities does a player need before you recognize that it doesn't work? Just wondering. What does it take? This is not beat up on Kerry Carpenter Day by any stretch. But he's batting 198 against lefties in his career. And he didn't yesterday, and there was some people who were pissed off about it because they feel like he should get the opportunity to do that. Okay. We can quickly decide on Jahmai Jones, and rightfully so, get him off this team. I was a big believer in that. He finally leaves, and then he goes to Boston and hits a home run, but whatever. Get him off this team. That's fine. How come it's taken us so long to recognize Kerry Carpenter can't hit lefties before people get all upset? In July, Kerry Carpenter is 6 for 52, 57 plate appearances, 6 for 52. He's batting 115 with an on-base percentage of 164 and a slug of 115. It may be the heel. I hope it is. If that's the case, he needs to go on the IL and bring somebody up, right? Wouldn't you think that makes a lot of sense?
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Because July has been one of his, and nobody goes through it more than the player. Trust me when I tell you this. Being around players, it is so hard in the majors to deal with that. They've got to deal with failure. We all do, right? And he or every player, it weighs on them. You try not to get too analytical, but sometimes you can't help it. Think about it. If Andy's out playing hole number 8 on a par 4 and he's 115 yards away and he's coming off a double bogey and he's trying to break 40 on the front, you don't think Andy's thinking about where he's got to hit the ball, where his arms are, where his hands are, where his feet are, all these other things? Yes, it's playing into his mind.
I'm thinking about it way too much. It's probably why I'm not in that situation enough.
If you're doing that on your league in golf this Thursday,
it's a problem.
It's you how could you not help but do it if it was your profession at another level or at a different sport like Kerry Carpenter might be? Who could blame him? But those numbers are shocking. In all of June, Andy, his OPS, on base plus slugging, was 887, the best all year. In July, his OPS is 279. How do you go 600 points worse in 1 month span? What has shielded us from those numbers is the success of the team.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
No one really was talking about Kerry Carpenter at all during this.
Nobody
time.
is.
It's not been a big thing. Yeah.
That's right. It is. I would say the offense is better when he's slugging, but when he is slumping instead of slugging and limping his way around the bases, something should be done. Now, maybe, just maybe, Javier Baez, after his AAA performance, 3 for 4 with a couple of doubles, maybe he gets called up and Carpenter goes on the IL. May not surprise any of us. I don't want that. I want Kerry to bounce out of it because A, I like him as a person. B, I like him as a player. C, Tigers need him from the left side. I've said it for 2 years. I wouldn't bat him against lefties. Everybody thinks I'm crazy. Everybody thinks I'm hating. It's not. It's situational baseball, which how this team is made up. Whether you like it or not, and I don't like it, it is a team that is primarily made up of situational guys. And I want everyday guys. Really good everyday guys. Our phone number on the Meyer hotline is 866-838-4843. You can text us, Sports Radio 21,000. You can join us in the chat as well as we stream live on Facebook, on X, and on YouTube. Somebody has, and we will get to that on the other side. Zach has joined us in the chat. Want to make sure we get his opinion known. Mitch Lyons joins us Mondays with Mitch at 7:18. And don't forget, we want your hero and heel at 8:18 on X's and Bros on a Monday morning.
Huge here for my good friend Josh Garvey and the team at Dorn Mayhew, West Michigan, one of the world's top accounting, CPA, and business firms. Their worldwide headquarters are in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state. And Josh and his team connect with all the sports fans and businesses across Michigan. They bring you John Beeline on the Huge Show. They bring you Lomas Brown during the Lions season. They are a top shelf team when it comes to growth and understanding what their clients need. And mix in when we do the Beat Huge contests or the NCAA March Madness brackets. Thank you, Josh Garvey, for what you do for the Huge Show and the Michigan Sports Network. Simple and easy. Just find Dorn Mayhew on all the social networks or just Google Dorn Mayhew and find out how they can help your business. And again, a special thanks to Josh Garvey and the Dorn Mayhew team in West Michigan.
The big shows are at Soaring Eagle. Eric Church. All you gotta do is put a drink in my hand. Friday, August 14th with special guest Ashley McBride. The Free the Machine Tour, part of the Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series. Tickets start at $87 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com.
Drink a little drink, smoke a little smoke.
The party starts with Eric Church plus Ashley McBride, August 14th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
The stock market goes up and then it goes down. It's fine while you're saving for retirement, but as you get closer to retirement, it can cause stress. Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. In my NFL days, this season could be a real roller coaster and a lot of fun, but roller coasters in retirement aren't as much fun. Do world events have you wondering if your retirement is safe? Will your money last even if the stock market were to take a dive? Have you had your retirement account stress tested to see what kind of risk you're actually taking? Let's not leave your retirement to chance. Hope is not a plan. Contact the pros at Mitch Lyons Wealth today and put us to work for you. Let's ensure your plan works even if the stock market doesn't. Text PLAN, PLAN, to 844-867-8335. That's PLAN to 844-867-8335. MitchLyonsWealth.com, your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. Investment advisory services are offered through MLW Advisory Services, LLC, DBA Mitch Lyons Wealth, a registered investment advisor.
Huge here for Van Andel Institute Purple Community. Now, they're a grassroots fundraising network powered by the volunteers who support VAI's mission to improve health now and in the future. Learn more at purplecommunity.org.
Get ready for the hottest Saturdays of the summer at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Now through August, we're dropping over $1 million in free play. Every hour from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., 10 winners score $600 in free play. $1 Million Summer is back, so don't miss your shot at big summer wins. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Okay. Thanks for sticking around on this Monday morning. Look, here's what's going to – this oftentimes happens to me when we start talking about baseball's Hall of Fame. Didn't plan on going there, but Zach Carlson joined us in the chat, and I appreciate it, Zach. Thank you. He said, please address the disrespect for Whitaker still not in the Hall of Fame. Received less votes, and Jeff Kent gets in. No disrespect to Kent, but, man, this is unbelievable. Zach, first of all, you're 100% correct. Second of all, I've said this forever, though. So I used to get in all kinds of trouble because I was one of those guys on TV who constantly brought this up right around this time of the year. I used to say it's unfathomable to me that he was not in the Hall of Fame. I think what's worse is that he was out after 1 year. Couldn't get 5% of the votes. I used to get really irritated. So bear with me here, because sometimes this is something that is very near and dear to my heart. And is there bias there? No. Believe it or not, there isn't. This is baseball knowledge. Okay? This is what it's all about. You're supposed to know what a player has done in their career and the significance that they have. How do you want to use the numbers? How do you want to use the comparable people who are associated with the sport in general? What is most important? When you look at a player's resume, what is most important? If you can possibly find a way to separate yourself from what the situation is. You're not a Tigers fan for a moment. Take yourself out of it, please. Do what you can. To say Jeff Kent doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame might be a bit of a stretch. He's an MVP. He's a five-time All-Star, and he's a four-time Silver Slugger. I use All-Stars oftentimes for effect because I think in baseball, it's different than being named a Pro Bowler in football. If you're an All-Pro in football, that's different. But if you're a Pro Bowler, so what? Jeff Kent has really good credentials. Are they Hall of Fame credentials? Yeah, I think they are. Just because Jeff Kent's a second baseman and goes in, most of those years hitting behind his best years, his best Baseball Reference WAR years were hitting behind Barry Bonds. So he's a five-time All-Star. So was Lou Whitaker. He was a four-time Silver Slugger. So was Lou Whitaker. Lou Whitaker was also a three-time Gold Glove. Jeff Kent never was. Lou Whitaker was also Rookie of the Year. Jeff Kent never was. Lou Whitaker is also a World Series champion. Jeff Kent never was. What's the difference? Home runs? So what? Ozzie Smith's in the Hall of Fame. He's not a home run hitter. Exceptional fielder, no doubt, but not a home run hitter. Jeff Kent had 377 homers. Lou Whitaker, 244. Okay? RBIs. Jeff Kent's got over 1,500. Lou Whitaker has just under 1,200. Lifetime batting average. Jeff Kent, 299 or 290. Lou Whitaker, 276. WAR. You ready? Jeff Kent, 55. Lou Whitaker, 75. I don't have to compare him just to Jeff Kent. I can use other Hall of Famers. Lou Whitaker, his numbers are better than most Hall of Fame second basemen. That's what you have to keep in mind. My bigger problem, don't be mad at the game. Be mad at the people who are voting for the game. The average career WAR, Baseball Reference WAR, over the last decade for Hall of Famers is 60.5. That's the average. The decade before, it was 54.8. That was lower than any decade going back behind the mid-70s. In other words, the standard in the last, before the last 10 years, was lower than it has ever been. You have a man who's got a 75 wins above replacement. If I want to be specific, 75.1. And he's not in the Hall of Fame. Stop with the whole bull crap. I almost said something else. Got to be careful about analytics and saying how it's important. Don't go Jeff Kent. Go Ryan Sandberg. Ryan Sandberg's wins above replacement is 68. He was a 10-time. It's not that I don't think he deserves to be in there. He absolutely does. He was a 9-time Gold Glover. He was a 10-time All-Star. He was a 7-time Silver Slugger. He was an MVP. Ryan Sandberg's a Hall of Fame player. No question. He's one of the better second basemen of his era. One of the better second basemen of all time, I think.
Those kind of numbers, when you hear that, you're immediately like, yeah, Hall of Fame. No doubt about it.
Oh, without a doubt.
Right.
But can I give you, do you mind if I give you his numbers? Who's got more RBIs in their career? Lou Whitaker or Ryan Sandberg? Lou Whitaker. Sandberg's got more homers, 282. Not by a ton. That's by a season and a half. So that's pretty damn good. Again, it's not that I don't think he's a Hall of Famer. I do. I just say when a new second baseman goes in, automatically people feel like, well, Lou Whitaker was better than he was. Lou Whitaker's numbers, depending on the numbers you look at, are as good as just about any other second baseman in history. I think Roberto Alomar is a Hall of Fame second baseman. Do you? I don't know if you ever watched Roberto Alomar.
I didn't get the chance to watch him.
Okay. Well, he won 10 Gold Gloves. He was a 12-time All-Star.
The numbers, though. Yeah.
4-time Silver Slugger, a 2-time World Series champion. He was an All-Star MVP. His WAR is 67. These are not small sample sizes. Lou Whitaker played 17 years. So when Zach comes out and says, how do you justify it? I can't. Nobody can. I'm not the person to ask. The person to ask are the morons who had a Hall of Fame vote before Lou Whitaker was knocked off the ballot. The people to ask now are those veteran committees who sit in a convenient conference room, get lunch delivered to them, and say, I think this guy belongs in there because he was a good teammate of mine. I want you to think about this for a minute. And again, unfortunately, when you have these discussions, you end up having to be detrimental toward another person. And I don't like doing that. Harold Baines is a Hall of Fame player. Did you know that? You never saw him play. He was a 6-time All-Star. He won a Silver Slugger. He was a good player. He's not a Hall of Fame player. His WAR is 38.8. There is nothing special there about Harold Baines. I give him loads of credit for playing 22 years in a very challenging period of time. He hit home runs, 385 of them. He drove in some runs, 1,600 RBIs. He's not a Hall of Fame player. He wasn't a great defensive player. He was primarily a DH. He's in the Hall of Fame. His best WAR season was 4.3. 4.3, okay? If you look at Lou Whitaker and you see how consistent he was, 3.8, 4.5, 3.8, 5.4, 6.7, 4.4, 4.5, 4.4, 3.6, every single year seemingly, it's 3.5 or better. He's a Hall of Fame second baseman. You've got too many numbnuts out there with votes in the past who said they didn't see him because he didn't play in New York or Los Angeles. And now you've got players out there who are doing it for my buddy instead of doing what's right. Sorry if I lost my temper there for a moment. Mitch Lyons joins us for Mondays with Mitch when we return.
Shop the Meijer 7 for 7 sale and make your next shopping trip a good deal better. Through August 4th, pay just $1 each when you mix or match any 7 or more items. Summer fresh favorites like seedless mini cucumbers, red, yellow, or orange bell peppers, and select varieties of Oikos Light and Fit or Chobani yogurt, Kraft mac and cheese, Powerade, or sparkling iced beverages. Getting more for your money with the Meijer 7 for 7 sale through August 4th. That's good life quality and real low prices. Only at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See the Meijer app for details.
You have old retirement accounts still at former employers that could use some attention. You have accounts that the only time you hear from the advisor is when you call them. It might be time to take stock of your retirement and stop settling for less than you deserve. Having retirement accounts doesn't equal having a retirement plan. Hi, I'm Mitch Lyons, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth. Stop procrastinating and let's coordinate your retirement accounts and make sure you have a plan for success in retirement. At Mitch Lyons Wealth, we help people make sense of all the moving parts of retirement: taxes, income, risk, Social Security, healthcare, and legacy. It all works together, so let's make sure all parts of your plan are working together and not fighting themselves. Let's create a retirement of steel. Contact us today to schedule a brief chat to talk about your situation. If it makes sense, we can talk further. If you're good as is, we'll let you know that too. Go to MitchLyonsWealth.com or text PLAN to 844-867-8335. That's PLAN to 844-867-8335. Investment advisory services are offered by MLW Advisory Services, a state registered investment advisor.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sports Net. Sign up like the Huge Show did with the Detroit Sports Net Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
What's up, Michigan? You're listening to my good friend Shep. The Huge Show is coming up later today at 3, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Or Mondays. First of all, Andy's back after getting engaged. So congratulations to Andy McDonald and his bride-to-be. That's fantastic. But also because we get Mitch Lyons. Now, I can't say that, Mitch was always the prize catch. His wife is. There's no question about that. Mitch being a prize catch, it might depend on your perspective. But we're glad we've got him here on MitchLyonsWealth.com. And you would be glad if you had him as your financial assistant, a financial helper, if you will, a financial advisor. Go to MitchLyonsWealth.com, 866-85-STEEL. You can sign up for the free newsletter. There's a book there with a streaming code for a movie that's part of him being the featured expert in the documentary. So all those things go to help you. And if you got that red zone, remember, there's a retirement red zone 5 years before and into retirement. Things can change a little bit. That's the red zone he's referring to. Make sure you're going to MitchLyonsWealth.com or calling him today at 866-85-STEEL to make sure you're helping yourself and the future of what you've worked so hard to gather. He joins us here on a Monday morning. Hope you had a good weekend. Say congratulations to Andy for getting engaged. Is Mitch with us? I hope I didn't.
The only thing I heard on your show was just before I got on, and you talking about Lou Whitaker. You got me all fired up again because that makes me really, really upset that Lou's not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I agree. Let me ask you this, because somebody had brought that up on the stream, and I appreciate it very much, and I get emotional about it. People used to tell me enough of the Lou Whitaker talk when I was calling Tigers baseball. You're aware of how good he was because you watched him. What does it take to put it in perspective for you? Am I using poor examples with Sandberg and Kent and Alomar in terms of WAR? What do you need to hear to convince you one way or the other that he indeed needs to be strongly considered for the Hall of Fame more than he has been so far?
Well, I mean, the WAR, which wasn't even a thing back then, right? I mean, that seems to be the barometer that people like to use nowadays. And, I mean, his are up there with anybody's. And the tragedy of it all for me is that he and Tram are such a combo, right? And their statistics are pretty doggone similar and played, same length careers. And it's just, they should be in there together. And it's not just me being sentimental because I'm a Tigers fan. The guy earned it. He deserved it. He's one of the top second basemen of all time. And it's just a tragedy, really. I hate to see it not happen before he's gone, because I'd love him to be able to experience that.
Yeah, people talk about Ozzie Smith and guys who are currently, with a high WAR, like Mookie Betts has got a 77 WAR right now. That's better than Lou Whitaker, but it's not a whole lot better than Lou Whitaker. Lou Whitaker actually is tied with, I don't know if people realize this, he's tied with Johnny Bench for career WAR at 75.1. Simply amazing to me. I mean, you put that in perspective, then you really recognize what's going on. John Smoltz, Tony Gwynn's one of the best hitters of our era, right? If I said to you, I'll give you a Tony Gwynn. Tony Gwynn's career WAR was 69.2. It was less than Lou Whitaker's. People don't realize that. John Smoltz is one of the best pitchers. You and I, he's from Lansing. You and I know John Smoltz. His career WAR is less than Lou Whitaker's. Anyway, I digress. I didn't mean to get into it, but yeah. Tomorrow's a big day.
I started.
That's okay. That's all right. That's what I love about you. You can talk about things other than football, and that's what I love most. Tomorrow's a big day. Training camp begins, okay? How do you feel at this time of the year? If you're a veteran or you're a rookie, you've been in both situations, playing as long as you did in the National Football League with Pittsburgh and Atlanta. How do you feel?
Well, as a rookie, your stomach's in knots, right? I mean, you've gone through some mini camp stuff, but it's time to play with the big boys, and it's the time to establish yourself and see where you fall in that pecking order. Obviously the first round pick, Blake Miller coming in knowing he's probably going to be starting. That might be a different experience than Mitch Lyons as a 6th round draft pick, just trying to make a team. So, but it's nerve wracking as a veteran. Kind of the same thing. I mean, hey, if you're one of those guys on the bubble, every year you're playing for your spot, so you know what's at stake. So it's a job interview every day. It's 24/7. It's high pressure, and it's exciting. It's exhilarating. It's nerve wracking all in one.
it still is an incredible accomplishment to be a 6th-round draft pick, play as long as you did in the National Football League. Mitch Lyons Wealth joining us here on X's and Bros Mondays with Mitch every Monday, 7:18. I think there are 2 starting positions on offense and 5 on defense that are all about competition. How do players view competition going into a training camp, do you think?
Well, it's what we've been raised on, right? I mean, from the time you're little, you're trying to be the man, and here's your shot. If you've got a crack at a starting spot, you've got to go out there and every single practice, they're looking, they're watching, they're looking at the tape every day, and as the saying goes, the film doesn't lie. So whatever you're throwing on that tape, that's what you're going to be judged on. So it's, for me, it was, hey, play out every play. If it's a running play, get down the field and pick off another DB. Make that extra effort. And that's really what it boils down to. I mean, it comes down to your resume, and your resume in the NFL is that tape they're watching every day. And not only for your team. I mean, when guys are in camp and playing, you're playing for all those other 31 teams, because they're all watching film. They're getting the films. They're analyzing every player in the league. So whether it's a starting job or you're just trying to make a team in the league, everybody's watching.
866-85-STEEL, 866-85-STEEL. That's the Mitch Lyons Wealth hotline, if you will. Don't forget, check them out. The Roth Blueprint offers. Get their Roth Blueprint offer. Call the pros at MitchLyonsWealth.com. You look at this Lions team, and they're not going to have dual practices this year. They've had them in the past, Pittsburgh, Miami, the Giants, whomever. How do you feel about that? As a player, how do you feel about that? And as an analyst, a football analyst who's watched more football than I'll ever watch, how do you feel about it?
I think they could be helpful, because you're getting to bang heads with somebody besides your own teammates, and especially for the young players that maybe haven't been battle tested yet at that level. It's good to go against other teams and not just have the scripted practices and going against the same guys day after day. So I think from that standpoint, it's good. They do tend to get a little tit for tat, and everybody tempers flare, and so on and so forth. And maybe guys aren't looking to take care of other teams' guys as much as maybe guys on your own team. At the end of the day, I don't think it's hugely important. You're still getting great reps in practice against NFL players. The guys on your team are NFL guys as well. So I think when you get into the preseason games, the guys that need that maybe need to knock the rust off, or maybe kind of get through that first time of being in the NFL. You're going to get that in the preseason game anyway. Now, with the preseason games being condensed, they used to be 4, now it's 3. There's not as much of that. So I think that's why a lot of these teams have gone to these practices. But I don't think it's hugely critical in the season long looking at things.
It's Mondays with Mitch Lyons, and MitchLyonsWealth.com. 8 days before the deadline for Major League Baseball. What is your gut telling you right now about the Tigers?
Man, I go back and forth. Coming into the weekend, I said, man, we've got as good a chance as anybody. We're playing great, and then you have 2 duds like we had the last 2 games against the Royals, and now you're 6 out. The Central, you're 3.5 in a wild card.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. It's right. It's right there. Could go either way in my mind, and I guess it really comes down to if I'm the GM, what's the offer? I guess, and are you looking at both? Are you looking at just Skubal? I mean, I don't know. I mean, starting pitching is not our problem. Obviously, you take a Skubal out of there, and that hurt your chances in a playoff series if we're fortunate to even get there this year. But if you're not, and you let him go for nothing, I don't know. Listen, I don't want to be in that position. That's a tough call. I don't think if they trade him, they're necessarily out of it for this year.
Right.
I think but what do they get in return? How, is it a reliever? Is it a right-handed bat or any bat? I mean,
right.
If we can improve this roster, I know you said in the past, when we traded Flaherty, we actually played pretty good after that a couple years ago. So I don't know. It's a tough one, and I'll be curious to see how it plays out for sure. And it's not. He's going to be judged on how it plays out long term, not just in the next upcoming weeks.
So that I agree 100% with all that. Just because you were to trade him doesn't mean you'd be out of it, because you still have 2 months. Problem is, if you trade him, who else follows suit? Mitch, always appreciate it, my friend. Have a great week. We'll talk again later in the week about training camp in general and what you've witnessed so far. It's Mitch Lyons from Mitch Lyons Wealth MitchLinesWealth.com joining us here on Mondays with Mitch on X's and Bros.
September 11th at Soaring Eagle, a hot night of soul.
Somebody sexy, tell them hey.
3-time Grammy winner Neo and the princess of hip hop, Keisha Cole. Tickets start at $53 and are on sale now at the Soaring Eagle box office or etix.com. Music that takes you there. Neo and Keisha, September 11th, part of the Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series.
Our state is Mecca for golf, and one of Michigan's crown jewels is Tullymore and St. Ives, 2 world-class championship courses in one charming and beautiful location. The golf is challenging but fair. You're going to use every club in your bag. But let me tell you what makes Tullymore really special. It's the people. From the wait staff to the bartenders to the pro shop and the management, their sole purpose is to give you a memorable experience, and they do. Go to TullymoreGolf.com today and experience a Michigan masterpiece. Hi, it's Matt Shepard, host of X's and Bros, Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, the Tigers and I want to send you to a Tigers home game every Wednesday. We're offering you Tiger Tuesdays, where you watch the Tiger game on Tuesdays on Detroit Sports Net. They'll give you a keyword to text to 21,000. You listen to my show Wednesday morning, and at 7:50, we'll pick a winner and give you 4 tickets to a Tigers game and $100 in free play at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Must be 21 or over to win.
Make sure you listen weekly to our Moving Ferris Forward interviews with Ferris President Bill Pink and other leaders who are moving Ferris forward. Find out more about Big Rapids and Ferris and what they have to offer at ferris.edu.
Not that it's the same, but Yogi Berra. 10 World Series titles, 11 All-Stars. Lou Whitaker's got a better WAR. Welcome back. 35 after the hour. I know. We could do this every day, all day. We could do this every day. Coming back, as Andy brings us back from break with some anti-ghost music there, I could easily give you another player on a regular basis who's in the Hall of Fame, Mike Piazza, at 59.6, who has a less WAR than Lou Whitaker. We could do that. I don't want to, because it just gets, as Mitch just told us, and Mitch Lyons Wealth and Mondays with Mitch, gets him more fired up every single time. These are the things that I hope this show can help you in a debate with someday. Literally, I think of Andy and his buddies after their Thursday league round, in which Andy wins again, collects all the money, buys the beers for everybody afterwards at the 19th hole, and says, when somebody says, I think they're making too big of a deal of it, Andy says to them, hold on a second. Wait 1 minute. Who are you talking about? Carlton Fisk? He's got a less WAR than Lou Whitaker.
The only part of that might actually happen is the last part you just said. So I might be able to use the information from the show to help myself in the debate. Winning and buying all the beer, that part's...
You're not going to do that.
That's fictional. That's
I get it.
sure.
When Mitch Lyons plays in a celebrity golf outing and they ask him to drive at 295 yards, and he does, and he turns around, and he turns around and he says, take that, Aaron Judge. Your career WAR is 64.5. Lou Whitaker's is 75.1. Now, Aaron Judge's career isn't over, but everyone's automatically assumed that he is a Hall of Famer. Freddie Freeman's a Hall of Famer. Lou Whitaker's got a higher WAR than Freddie Freeman. They're still playing, so it might end up being different. I get it. Just giving you an idea. Juan Marichal. Anyway, so let's move on here, because, again, I could talk about that for a long, long time. Pro Football Focus came out with something very interesting. Oh, and by the way, did you see the Morgan Wallen concert? What'd you think about Aiden Hutchinson walking out with him on Friday? I predicted that. On Saturday, it was the
You predicted that. Wow. That was your call for Friday? Nice. Well, I like that.
Here's how I predicted it. My wife, my daughter, and my son went. Okay? I was the designated driver. I drove them to Ann Arbor so they didn't have to worry about paying for parking, which was mostly ridiculous, although I did see some good deals, and the traffic. And I happened to be a little bit more of an aggressive driver, and we actually got out of there at a very, very, very reasonable time. So anyway, I drop them off. They go to dinner. Then they go to the concert. While I drop them off early, I go meet my oldest son who lives there. We play 18 holes at Twilight, and then we go out to dinner with his girlfriend. So we hung out. It was a very, very nice Friday night for me. And they said, who do you think's bringing him out tonight? Because it was Hutchinson on Friday. I said, I don't know. My guess would be, could he do something like Charles Woodson? But I don't know if he's a country fan. Because everybody wondered if it would be Tom Brady. I said, that's pretty deep. I doubt it would be Tom Brady. So I guess something like Woodson. I said, I could tell you it's not going to be Dylan Larkin.
That's when I saw the gold medal, there was a second in my head where I was just like, wait a second. There's no way. Not right now. I'm like, I obviously I don't know how like in touch Morgan is to Michigan sports. I'm sure it's not
right.
So maybe he wouldn't have known anyway, but still it would have been insane. Like the crowd reaction, I would have paid to see like what would have happened with that.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Oh,
it really was. And one
the Hughes brothers was fantastic. It was
a great idea.
Great. That was
great idea. My mind never went there. I didn't think of that. It was so my family said it was a fantastic concert, first and foremost. Second of all, they said the lines for drinks and bathrooms, outrageous.
I can only imagine how it was.
But one person, they had one person behind the counter helping with drinks at times.
That's
it's just
insane.
Yeah, so I just not sure that place is equipped to they can handle the crowd for the concert, the event. But can they handle all the ancillary things around it? It sure doesn't sound.
Well, obviously, I had this plan to go out west and do what I did last week, but I'm a country fan. I do like Morgan Wallen. I would have loved to go to that concert, but that happened to be in the week that I was gone. But the one thing I kept saying to myself was, and that's why I'd be interested to see with the people from your life that went to it. I would love to know what they thought about, like, where did they sit? was it like super high up, or were they?
No, it wasn't super high up. We got them for a Christmas gift. We got them tickets, and they had really good seats. They weren't main floor. They weren't in the pit area.
Yeah, sure. I would have been, nosebleed in for sure, just to get in the building kind of thing. And that's why for me, I was like, I don't know. The crowd is gonna be. I've covered so many Michigan football games on Saturdays, and being in the media, you try to get there as early as possible just to get in the gate when you want to and everything. It's an absolute madhouse there. So I can only imagine what the scene was like for that. That's why for me, if I would have went, the expectations for like getting drinks and using the bathroom and all that, I would have had that going in because I just would have expected it to be.
Yeah, obviously there weren't as many people there as there would be for a football game.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the football game is much more of a madhouse. I mean, they start earlier and everything. I would tell you, I dropped my family off at about 4:45, 5 o'clock.
Okay.
So they could grab dinner. Gates opened, I think, at 4:30. You and I go to a Michigan football game. We've been plenty combined. And if it's a noon kickoff, you're there well before 8 o'clock.
Oh, yeah. Well,
even though there's not as much to do, you just have to get there. So you
our
don't.
Grand Rapids
you're not
morning started
waiting.
Like 4:30.
So you're not waiting in line forever, right?
Yeah.
So and with the media, you have to pay for it, unfortunately, with parking. But there's a different situation because you get parking there. But just waiting through the mob scene that is a fan base like that, it gets to be a little much. Anyway, best concert you ever went to was what?
Oh gosh,
what's the greatest concert?
That's a tough one off the top of my head. I will always say I think the one that still does it for me. It was one of the last ones of Joe Louis. I don't know if it was the last one, but it was Drake, who was super popular at the time when I was younger. He was the future for that concert. He pulled out Eminem towards the end of his set for one of the songs they do together.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, man! I've been in a lot of arenas. Obviously, I've never heard a pitch like that loud of sound when they pulled him out of the ground to do his verse. It was pretty crazy. What I mean by that is like the stage has like like people pop up on the stage, like they just kind of come out of the floor. That's what they did with Eminem. Like he just came out for his verse and it was crazy. So that experience was like just my favorite overall.
You're talking about sound. I'm talking about sound and everything. Like I saw Tool at Little Caesars Arena.
Oh gosh, that'd be phenomenal.
And they were so precise. They were so good, and it was sold out. It was jam packed. Most people who don't know Tool is rock and roll heavy.
They're awesome. I've seen them a couple times. Yeah.
Yeah. They were so good. Seen AC/DC a couple of times, and they were on point, especially the last time I saw them at the Palace. And I saw Deep Purple at Pine Knob, and they were outstanding. It would be hard for me to try and differentiate between any of those, but from what my family told me, Morgan Wallen was excellent.
I believe it. I mean, the show itself seems phenomenal. That's a big part of it usually.
Yeah, so I'm really happy for him, and I just think you got to be careful. Everybody wants these football venues, and sometimes bigger is not always better. From a sound standpoint, it was really good, but the experience for fans, and we talked to a number of different people on Friday night who, again, said the concert was good, but the whole amenities aspect, ridiculous. And the cost of a beer was like $17, which doesn't surprise me.
It's always
no offense to anybody. You're foolish if you go and you pay for a ton of them. I mean, obviously you've got the money to do it, so I guess maybe it doesn't matter to you. It's just obnoxious how these places are willing to gouge the consumer.
Yeah, no.
And then those same
It's
consumers
crazy.
will be upset at other places that whether it be gas or whether it be bread or eggs, and they'll be all upset. Oh my God, they're taking advantage of it. But I'm going to go to the concert on Friday, and I'm going to pay $20 for a cooler
for a beer. Yeah, that's
it's
the
crazy.
thing that makes it so hard is like you wait for a concert sometimes like that. Like you're looking so forward to going to it. You
Yeah.
finally get to it, and then you pay for one. You're like, this is ridiculous. But you're going to do it all night anyway because you've been waiting for that night for so long. Is how it feels anyway. And the same people are going to complain, for days after that about how much it costs to pay for it. But yeah, you did it anyway.
Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. The other crazy thing that's taking place, and I do want to get to some football discussion here, but it is amazing to me how people are just, it's one way or the other, and you can't see the other side of something. For example, the Tarek Skubal trading situation. Our good friend Bill Simonson, the huge show Monday through Friday, 3 until 7, does an excellent job and debates people, and I love it. But his debate online is not too dissimilar to what Kirby Joseph did last night when people were talking about him being on the PUP list. The constant belief that if you get rid of Skubal, you have no chance. And that if you keep Skubal, there's no guarantee you're going to win a World Series. There's no guarantee you're winning a World Series no matter what. Does he give you a better chance? Duh. Yeah, he does. So I can understand why people would want to keep him, because it gives you a better chance at a mostly wide open American League. To not understand why people would want to get rid of him, because you hope you get the maximum in return as you possibly can, doesn't make a whole lot of sense either. You realize that a fan base, mostly emotional, has been under the philosophy of once bitten, twice shy, and in this case, twice bitten, burned and burned and burned over again. When you lose Justin Verlander and JD Martinez, people feel like you have been screwed and you don't know what you're doing, even though it was a past regime. That might be an argument for why many people want to keep Tarik Skubal. The argument to that would be it's a different regime, and they have made some trades that you feel pretty good about overall. Not all of them, but overall. Tarik Skubal is one of the best pitchers in baseball, although I do think we have to have a deep conversation about who is the most dominating pitcher. It's not Tarik Skubal. There are more pitchers today than there were a year ago who you could make the argument they are better in Major League Baseball than Tarik Skubal. Doesn't mean I wouldn't want him. Doesn't mean I wouldn't start him in game one of a series in the playoffs, but you can have that debate. You can have the debate that trading Tarik Skubal is the best thing for the organization. If you're not willing to listen to that, then it's pointless having a conversation.
I don't know how you
just
can't
because you
listen
think
to that.
I don't know how you can't. Just because he is your best pitcher, there's no doubt about it, and gives you a better chance, doesn't mean you still can't get better long term by trading him. If you're willing to accept only a draft pick for him, and you don't win at all, because there is no guarantee. If you're willing to do that, then you're the person who the next year or the next month or the day after you get eliminated, you are going to rip that organization incessantly. And rightfully so. General managers have to keep an eye on more than just living in a certain moment. You've had him. You're better with him. But your team is still 6 games under 500. He's one guy who pitches every 5th day. If you could get a power right-handed stick and a starting pitcher who may not be the top end rotation, but middle of your rotation, would you not feel pretty good about that?
I mean, I don't understand how you wouldn't. That's for people that don't understand that side of the argument. It doesn't make any sense. You have to think about trading him. I understand being nervous about what you're going to get back. That part of it does matter. You get rid of this guy for something you don't feel like is enough. You're going to feel like you missed a major opportunity because he's this huge piece. But you have to be willing to at least listen to the fact that on the side of the argument that people that want to trade him, you have to be able to listen to people and what they have to say with that.
If you got, just for example, if you got Emmett Sheehan, 26-year-old righty for the Dodgers, and Zaire Hope, one of their best prospects, who could play outfield for you, right field, probably tomorrow, and you would help that cause, 2 different areas, would you not consider that a win instead of just holding on to a guy who you've never gotten to the ALCS with?
Right. Yeah.
That's what people forget. People forget when they're making the argument, how are you going to get rid of him? He's going to help you get to the World Series. They haven't with him. Why do you say that? They had 2 all-star pitchers a year ago. Do you think Framber Valdez has made that much of a difference? Yes or no? The answer to that would be no. Okay.
No.
So I'm confused at why it's so hard to see the other side of things. It's not that I say you've got to trade him, although I am in that camp. I can understand why you'd want to keep him, as long as you're willing to accept those consequences. Here's the problem. You're not willing to accept them because you're not on the chopping block. You're not the one who's going to feel the vitriol from social media, articles, television, radio, including yours truly.
No, people just think about right now, and they think about the fact they're like, oh, well, at least gives us the chance the rest of the summer. That's what people think when they think that way. It's like, well, then you ask them about the future, they have no response to that. Oh, well, I can't say, oh, well, about it. I have to take a side.
When people say you have a chance to win the American League, because that's what I hear all the time. Matter of fact, my best friend and I were talking about this the other day. Yeah, but you have a chance to win the American League. I said, granted, so does Tampa, so does the Yankees, so does the Red Sox, so do the White Sox, so does Cleveland, so does Texas, so does Seattle. I don't know how many are going to make moves. If you told me it's a guarantee the Tigers are going to make a move, we're going to improve their roster significantly, would you take it? Absolutely. And then I would keep him. I don't know that. I don't know that they're going to, for sure, improve their roster. I don't know for sure that they're going to add. God knows they need it. Right?
Yeah, because Terry Skubal can get you 6 innings, and that's great.
What difference does it make if all he gets you is 6 innings and then your bullpen blows it?
Exactly what
I've just gone over earlier in the show. They've blown 24 saves, more than anybody else in baseball.
You can't win that
21 saves.
Can't win that.
They have 17 blown games where they've led in the 7th inning or later, more than anybody else. How does holding on to Tarek Skubal, who doesn't go past 7 innings, how does it help you? It doesn't guarantee you anything. And that's what people are scared of. There should be no guarantees. That's not what sports is. Look, the Rams in all likelihood are going to keep Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald's going to come back. In all likelihood. That's the way it's trending. Does that guarantee them the Super Bowl? The answer to that is hell to the no. Oklahoma City wasn't guaranteed an NBA championship. They didn't get past San Antonio. There was nothing guaranteed there. Colorado had the best record in the National Hockey League. It didn't guarantee them a Stanley Cup. They didn't win it. The 3 seed won it the previous 2 years, and this year Carolina won it. Stop with, well, he's going to give you a chance to go to the World Series. Of course he is. He did last year. He did the year before. He was better last year. He was better the year before. And you didn't get there.
Yeah.
Understand why so many people feel the fear of not getting there and then losing him for nothing.
Exactly. And what about the guys you might get back from? What about the bullpen arms you might get back from? But would that not help you get to the World Series? How many games you've lost?
Right. There's a trust factor or the lack thereof there, Andy. And that is that the guy in the front office, the president of baseball operations,
now that's
doesn't
fair.
know what he's doing.
Yep.
And if that's your argument, that's different. And I understand that. But at least I can see why each side would want it. To think that you have to be an absolute idiot not to want to keep Tarek Skubal so your team can get to the World Series is incredibly flawed.
No, whether you trust him or not, if you get nothing back from him, that doesn't even mean you're going to necessarily sign him next year anyway, which they most likely aren't. So,
90% chance you're not. When we come back, Pro Football Focus has come out with the best players per position in the last 20 years for the Lions. We'll get to your texts and a whole lot more. This is X's and Bros. Glad you're with us on a Monday morning. Brought to you by Meyer this hour.
Huge here for my good friend Josh Garvey and the team at Dorn, Mayhew, West Michigan. One of the world's top accounting, CPA, and business firms. Her worldwide headquarters are in Troy, Michigan, on the east side of the state. And Josh and his team connect with all the sports fans and businesses across Michigan. They bring you John Beeline on the Huge Show. They bring you Lomas Brown during the Lion season. They are a top shelf team when it comes to growth and understanding what their clients need. And mix in when we do the Beat Huge contest or the NCAA March Madness brackets. Thank you, Josh Garvey, for what you do for the Huge Show and the Michigan Sports Network. Simple and easy. Just find Dorn Mayhew on all the social networks, or just Google Dorn Mayhew and find out how they can help your business. And again, a special thanks to Josh Garvey and the Dorn Mayhew team in West Michigan.
September 11th at Soaring Eagle, a hot night of soul.
Got somebody sexy, tell them hey.
3-time Grammy winner Neo and the princess of hip-hop, Keisha Cole. Tickets start at $53 and are on sale now at the Soaring Eagle box office or etix.com. Music that takes you there. Neo and Keisha, September 11th, part of the Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series.
Shop the Meijer 7 for 7 sale and make your next shopping trip a good deal better. Through August 4th, pay just $1 each when you mix or match any 7 or more items. Summer fresh favorites like seedless mini cucumbers, red, yellow, or orange bell peppers, and select varieties of Oikos Light and Fit or Chobani yogurt, Kraft mac and cheese, Powerade, or sparkling iced beverages. Getting more for your money with the Meijer 7 for 7 sale through August 4th. That's good life quality and real low prices. Only at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See the Meijer app for details.
The big shows are at Soaring Eagle. Eric Church.
All you gotta do is put a drink in my hand.
Friday, August 14th with special guest Ashley McBride. The Free the Machine Tour, part of the Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series. Tickets start at $87 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com.
Drink a little drink, smoke a little smoke.
The party starts with Eric Church plus Ashley McBride, August 14th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sports Net. Sign up like the Huge Show did with the Detroit Sports Net Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
One of the sayings that drives me, or used to drive me nuts, and I guess to a certain extent still does, is what it is. It is what it is, that saying. I used to shake my head. What the hell does that mean? I got so frustrated with it. A former Tigers TV partner of mine had a shirt made up and it said, "It is what it is." And I used to wear it around. Another one it is that kind of bothers me right now is two things can be true at the same time. And I just used it. So I'm frustrated myself. A friend of the show and an insider with Billy on the Huge Show in the afternoons is John Vanderwall. John Vanderwall's a hell of a player, hell of a hitter. Knows what he's doing, right? I mean, he's a hitting instructor, as a pinch hitter, one of the best there was of his era. He knows what he's talking about. And I like following him. If you want to follow him by Vandy on Tigers. He's very opinionated. I love that about him. He is ready for the repercussions. I love that about him. He's unafraid. Love that about him. He tweeted, all that matters is winning today. I'm tired of hearing this team doesn't have enough offense. They do. No, they don't. No, they don't. They scored 12 runs against a bad Kansas City team in 4 games. Okay? Sorry, averaging 3 runs a game doesn't work. It doesn't cut it. You may think it does in a series at this time of the year against that team, but it doesn't. Period. If you want to look at the best teams in baseball, they score runs, for crying out loud. They're 23rd in runs scored. The Tigers rank 23rd. His argument would be Washington and Pittsburgh score more runs than anybody else. That may surprise you, but it's true. They score more. If I said to you, Andy, who scores more runs? The Dodgers or the Nationals?
I mean, I'd say the Dodgers.
You'd say that. If I said the Cubs or the Pirates, you'd be wrong in both cases because Washington, Pittsburgh rank 1 and 2. Then it's the Dodgers, then it's the Cubs, then it's the Brewers, and then it's the Braves. Interesting that it's all National League teams. The team that leads the American League in runs scored is who? Fork to nose, guess which American League team has scored more runs than anybody else? The Minnesota Twins. That stuns you.
I mean, you don't expect to hear that. Sure.
I know that. Yeah, I know. But, I mean, they've played 3 more games than the Chicago White Sox, who've scored more runs. Doesn't mean that's the be-all, end-all, but Detroit ranks 23rd runs per game, all right? 21st in overall runs, but 23rd in runs per game.
How about the White Sox anyway,
now,
man?
So that surprises you. It surprises me, too. The problem is, and he's right about this aspect of it, they need bullpen help. 2 things can be true. They don't score enough runs, and they need bullpen help. You're not completely wrong, but if you think they've got enough offense, just because they have Dylan Dingler, Kevin McGonigal, Riley Green, and everybody's favorite second baseman and how you lead doesn't mean it's enough. They haven't done enough. It was a problem last year at the trade deadline. It's a problem now. Anyway, just wanted to let you know about that as we move forward, okay? That's the big deal. Pro Football Focus, and we're going to get your hero and heel in at 8:18. That's when we do hero and heel. That's the best and the worst of the weekend, okay? So would love to hear from you on that. If you want to text us, Sports Radio 21,000. Call us on the Meyer hotline, 866-838-4843. Let me get to a text real quick. Then I want to get to the Pro Football Focus. Best player at the Lions positions over the last 20 years. Kirby Joseph is not in it. Just want to give you a heads up. There is no Kirby Joseph. Wrong. He is. He is. He is named. In the last 20 years, he's one of the best safeties that they've had, which tells you something about the safety situation in Detroit. But when Kirby Joseph comes out and has a online social media argument with listeners or viewers or social media trolls, you know there's a problem. Like, I'm not telling you got to be working out 24 hours a day or making smoothies, kale smoothies on a regular basis, Kirby, but you might want to stay off social media, considering prior to the PUP list announcement, you said, how are you going to bet that I'm on it? How many of y'all bet that I'm on it? And then people say, you made it sound like you weren't going to be on it. And now he wants to take shots at you. Just leave it be, okay? It doesn't. You're going to get in this never-ending feud with a guy who's eating Cheetos, drinking beer, and watching, the NFL insiders on the Football Network. That's all he has to do, where you could be rehabbing or doing something actually meaningful with your life. But I do want to get to that when it comes to the Lions, the best over the last 20 years for them. Speaking of the Lions, our good friend Freddie chimes in. How fun was it when the Lions organizations and players were winning playoff games? Players were hungry on the field, not on social media, spouting off on how they won't be on the pup list. Not doing podcasts, dropping passes, and looking like rock stars at the 2023 draft when this all started to unravel. When does it all come back? Because they seem more focused saying fourth place instead of saying last place. Well, okay, hold on a second. So the Kirby Joseph thing I just mentioned, you bring up is funny. Doing podcasts, who cares? It's not they've got time down, When they're done working out and they're done going through football and they're done watching film and they want to unwind, they want to do a podcast. Let me ask you this. How is it any different than doing a radio interview? I would love to have a Lion on a regular basis joining us. Would you hold that against him? I hope not. It doesn't matter.
If you don't want players to do that kind of stuff at all, then how are you supposed to get to know more about them? It doesn't, And
as far as
it doesn't mean they're not focused.
As far as looking like rock stars, I hate to tell you this, but Shea Gilgeous-Alexander was named the MVP. He looked like an Eskimo at a recent NBA game, wearing sunglasses and a fur coat that had him looking like he was walking around with an igloo on his back. It doesn't matter. Who cares?
Yeah, man. This is where it goes back to they are people. They have personalities. They had personalities before they got here. Do you want them to just change everything about themselves because they're a professional athlete?
First of all, let me just say this. I love this man. I mean, Freddie's, I consider him a good friend, and I mean that. And anybody, I would recommend anybody who's near Melvindale, Dearborn, down Allen Park, near that area, go to his pizza. It's fantastic. It is. It really is the best pizza you've had. However, and he's very successful. Should people take jabs at you because you do a podcast? Because he does his own podcast. Should they take jabs at you because you're on social media? Or that you're listening to various sports radio shows and chiming in with, I would say 90% of the time, really good takes? It's your profession. Your profession is being a restaurant owner. Well, how's it any different? It doesn't matter. It's a side of you that at least I love, and a lot of people may not. It's a side of certain athletes. It doesn't mean that they're less dedicated. It just means that they have other interests in their lives.
Yeah, but when the results in the field are not as good, that's what people like to go to. Is that, they're just not as locked in because they're doing anything else.
Should you and I be pissed that Penny Sewell and Tate Ratledge went to the Morgan Wallen concert together?
Absolutely
and
not.
did a bunch of social media stuff.
Definitely should not be upset about that.
Shep, why would any Detroit Tiger fan want Tarek Skubal down the stretch knowing everything he has said this year? His actions without words is not going to give it all with his arm any longer until he gets his paycheck. If they get to the playoffs, would he do what Madison Baumgartner and others have done? Start games, come in relief in a very big moment, in a very big, important moment. Hell no, he wouldn't. Lucky if he goes 6, tips his cap to the crowd. Such a shame. Friday by he and such a shame by he and by AJ. I don't think he would. I think he would come out of the bullpen. I think he would do whatever he could to give his team a win. My frustration with Tarek Skubal has been that he hasn't gone deeper. I think there's more in him to go deeper into a game.
100%.
He has not done that. Now, he did go 7 in his last start, struck out 12.
Pitch count was low, though, before that.
Pitch count was low, right? Yeah. I don't care about pitch count.
They do.
If the pitch, I know they do, but if the pitcher believes, I want just one time him to do what Jack Morris did when Roger Craig came out of the bullpen. What the hell are you doing here?
Totally get it.
Turn around and go back. He's earned that right. When we come back, X's and Bros brings you, as we do every Monday at 8:18, Hero and Heel. Stay with us.
In the Den with Dan Dickerson.
It's a new day to celebrate and be free. And it's a new day full of action and excitement because it's a day for winning. Only at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, your getaway reimagined. We celebrated 125 years of Tigers baseball over the weekend, and the highlight for me was meeting Ann Fidrich, who was married to Mark Fidrich for 23 years. Meeting her and then talking with her allowed us to celebrate that incredible Summer of the Bird. There's never been anything quite like it before or since in Major League Baseball. Fidrich's infectious enthusiasm, his personality, his antics on the mound, he captured the imagination of this entire state and then a nation. The numbers are kind of ridiculous. 24 complete games and 29 starts. He finished with a 2.34 ERA. But what you remember most about that summer for Fidrich is the feeling he created in the Tigers Nation. It was special. And every time you watch a clip of the bird, you can't help but smile.
The Freddie the Pizza Man Foundation is dedicated to providing support to families and Michigan schools touched by autism. We invite you to join us in supporting these families and schools by making a donation at FreddieThePizzaMan.com. With your donation, you can help provide essential resources that can make a real impact. Visit FreddieThePizzaMan.com to make a donation and to learn more about the foundation's mission. That's FREDI ThePizzaMan.com. Together, we can make a difference.
Hi, it's Matt Shepard, host of X's and Bros Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, the Tigers and I want to send you to a Tigers home game every Wednesday. We're offering you Tiger Tuesdays, where you watch the Tiger game on Tuesdays on Detroit Sports Net. They'll give you a keyword to text to 21,000. You listen to my show Wednesday morning, and at 7:50, we'll pick a winner and give you 4 tickets to a Tigers game and $100 in free play at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Must be 21 or over to win.
Back with you here on X's and Bros on this Monday morning. We're brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Thanks for being with us. The Lions have had I would say, a strong last few years. I know last year was last place in the division, tied for last place, beat the division winners twice, but lost to a really bad quarterback in 2 games, lost to the Steelers, for crying out loud. Did finish above 500, doesn't matter. 9-8 is not good enough, period. Over the last 20 years, I would say there's been a hell of a lot more downs than ups. Pro Football Focus did this with every team. They took the best teams over the last 20 years, the best players, I should say, over the last 20 years. The quarterback, who do you think they had? There's really only 2 choices, Stafford or Goff.
I would guess Stafford.
They took Stafford. Goff is the only quarterback. I mean, if you look at the last 4 years, who's thrown for the most yards? Jared Goff. He's led them to playoff wins. Matthew Stafford has not. But I think most people would agree Matthew Stafford's the better quarterback. Is that fair to say?
I think so.
Okay.
Definitely fair to say.
Yeah. I could listen to a debate. I would just side with Stafford. Jahmyr Gibbs, the best running back. That's not a surprise. The wide receivers, Calvin Johnson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Golden Tate. Are you in line with that? Who else would the slot receiver be?
Yeah, it's tough to say. They had Amon-Ra at first, you said, right?
No, they had Calvin Johnson.
Calvin at first.
I don't think it really matters.
When he said
it's
slot, I was a little thrown off there. But that makes it. Calvin Johnson's. I mean, he's number one. There's no question about that. I think.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. But we need to remind everybody that in 5 years, Golden Tate here in Detroit was pretty
good.
Damn good.
Yeah, he was really good.
Good.
He was a huge part of those teams.
So I can understand that. Tight end Sam Laporta, and they actually have 2 tight ends. T.J. Hawkinson would be the
Eric Ebron wasn't included in that list.
No, but Brandon Pettigrew had. I'll tell you this. I know how people feel. Okay, because nobody in this town likes tight ends as first-round picks. They just don't. They haven't. Ebron has burned them, and Brandon Pettigrew has burned them. People are pissed off about it. He was the 20th overall pick in the 2009 NFL draft. But he went 722, 777 in back-to-back years. He had 2 really good years. Neither year was as good as Sam Laporta's. And neither was as good as T.J. Hawkinson. I just do believe he should be at least thought of. So I don't disagree with the tight ends. Left tackle, Taylor Decker. Left guard, Rob Sims. I like that. I'm glad they went back. And then we've got Frank Ragnow as center, Graham Glasgow, and Penei Sewell. That's your offense. Your defense, and Ndamukong Suh, Aleem McNeil, question mark, Aiden Hutchinson, Ziggy Ansah, linebacker Stephen Tulloch, DeAndre Levy, Jack Campbell. Some recency bias there.
Yeah, I can see that.
Darius Slay, Rasheed Mathis as the corners. And then your safeties, Glover Quinn and Kirby Joseph, with Brian Branch as the slot corner. Rasheed Mathis, a little bit of a stretch there for me.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Okay, little bit of a stretch there. Let's get to Hero and Heel. We have it for you every single Monday at 8:18. Here's my hero. My hero is Jacob Mizorowski. The Brewers starter set a franchise record, striking out the first 7 and 12 of the first 13 Rockies on Sunday. He finished with 12 punch-outs in 5 innings that led Milwaukee to a 4-1 win. Understand, no pitcher in recorded baseball history has thrown more than 14 pitches at 103 miles an hour in one big league game. Mizorowski threw 30 of them in the first 4 innings against Colorado. Unreal. you got to have a conversation that he's the most dominant.
How can't
pitcher.
you with the strikeout numbers he's putting up? It's insane.
Yeah, he threw 33 pitches at 103 miles per hour or more against the Rockies. He's my hero of the day.
Absolutely nuts.
Of the week.
Mine is Jackson Koiven, who we mentioned earlier in the show. He won the 3M Open this weekend with a -25. Held off names like Scotty Scheffler, Hideki Matsuyama, and Brian Harmon. Some bigger names in golf there. The one thing that I saw that was so impressive to me over his weekend was a 305-yard approach shot for that eagle. I know you being a golfer, like it's like
that was Saturday.
Can you imagine? I mean, 305 yards to put it that close.
No
that
idea.
absolutely blew me away. But just being 21 years old and being able to win an event like that, what a special moment for him to put himself on the map like that.
Here's the other thing, and he won the 3M tournament. In case people were wondering, he's coming off one of the most successful golf seasons in college golf history, where he won 6 times in a span of 3 months and secured every national Player of the Year award for the second time in his college career. It's one of the more dominating college golfers you've ever seen.
No question about it.
Yeah. I love his confidence, too. Here's my heel. My heel is Tony Romo. At his home state of Wisconsin for the State Amateurs Championship at West Bend Country Club, the analyst was arrested Thursday in Milwaukee for suspicion of driving while intoxicated. Well, he was driving on Interstate 43 in Milwaukee and was pulled over. He would later perform poorly during a sobriety test. Booked and now has a September 21st court date. By the way, he finished 73rd in the tournament, and he's a good golfer, but not good enough. Obviously not a very good driver either, or decision maker, or analyst. Tony Romo, my heel of the week.
Pretty crazy. That's something I couldn't miss, no matter how far away I was from it. You saw that one everywhere. But my heel is the Tigers' bottom third of the order. As much as we want to complain about the bullpen and everything, they're the worst in the major leagues this season, hitting only 200. They have a 604 OPS, which also ranks 29th. Saturday, the game that we haven't talked about as much, it was a huge reason why they lost the game on Saturday. They had runners on first and third with 1 out. It's a situation we've seen over and over again. Matt Vierling couldn't get the bunt down, and then, they end up losing the game there when Torkelson pinch hits and gets out. So it's just all season that a lot of these teams that, the Tigers have like the thorn in their side, it always seems to be those 7 through 9 guys that find a way to get a hit to, really drive you nuts. The Tigers just haven't had anything from that part of the order. It seems like even when they've been really good at this point, like lately since
got a text. A hero is Jackson Koiven, like you said. The keys to the new face of golf, if he wants it, is great a player in big moments. Now Scotty Scheffler's still young enough. I still think he's the face of golf, but Koiven, what a great swing.
Yeah.
So I could buy that. The future of it. Heel Tarek Skubal for not tipping his cap to the crowd when
he doesn't do that
on Friday night.
Does he?
Has he ever done that?
I don't think so. I don't think it's his thing. I don't remember him doing that.
Yeah, it doesn't make it right. I'm just wondering. I don't think he's ever.
I think
done
he's maybe
that.
like tapped his his glove, like to kind of
back
at him. I think.
Yeah, a little bit, maybe touch his heart. I think what the texter might be referring to there too is if it's his last start at home, because he's pitching against Baltimore, right? He's pitching the last game against Baltimore on Wednesday. So if that's his last start, that makes it even more of a problem, I'm sure, for a lot of people. So I get that. I do. All right, when we come back, good to see that other cities have athletes put their foot in their mouth other than Detroit. We'll get to that, a few more texts, and anything else that might be on your mind on a Monday morning, brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for the Michigan High School Athletic Association. You can stay up to date on the latest from Lansing 24/7 at MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. The latest news, press releases, and stories connected to every high school in the state of Michigan, available for you 24/7 from the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Log on to MHSAA.com, at MHSAA on Twitter, and MHSAA on Facebook. And if you're looking for archive boys and girls high school sports, MHSAA.TV. That's MHSAA.TV. 24/7, everything you need to know about high school sports in Michigan. Log on to MHSAA.com.
The big shows are at Soaring Eagle. Eric Church.
All you gotta do doers, put a drink in my hand.
Friday, August 14th with special guest Ashley McBride. The Free the Machine Tour, part of the Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series. Tickets start at $87 and are on sale now at the box office and etix.com.
Drink a little drink, smoke a little smoke.
The party starts with Eric Church plus Ashley McBride, August 14th at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Where are you watching the Tigers this year? Superfly Hayes here for Detroit Sports Net. Sign up like the Ute Show did with the Detroit Sports Net Tigers Wings package. Subscription info at tigers.com and MLB.com.
Hi, it's Matt Shepard, host of X's and Bros Monday through Friday, 6 until 9. Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort, the Tigers and I want to send you to a Tigers home game every Wednesday. We're offering you Tiger Tuesdays, where you watch the Tiger game on Tuesdays on Detroit Sports Net. They'll give you a keyword to text to 21,000. You listen to my show Wednesday morning and at 7:50, we'll pick a winner and give you 4 tickets to a Tigers game and $100 in free play at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort. Must be 21 or over to win.
September 11th at Soaring Eagle, a hot night of soul.
Somebody sexy, tell them hey.
3-time Grammy winner Neo and the princess of hip hop, Keisha Cole. Tickets start at $53 and are on sale now at the Soaring Eagle box office or etix.com. Music that takes you there. Neo and Keisha, September 11th, part of the Soaring Eagle Summer Outdoor Concert Series.
Okay, 35 after the hour. Welcome back. We had mentioned that the Lions, according to Pro Football Focus, the best player at each position over the last 20 years. If you looked at it strictly from a defensive line position, can you imagine Aiden Hutchinson, Ziggy Ansah at one side? And Ziggy Ansah was a good player. He's not a Hall of Famer by any stretch of the imagination, but he is a guy who, he made one Pro Bowl for what it's worth. And he's a guy who had double-digit sacks twice in his career, 14 and a half sacks one year. Pretty damn impressive. Now, the bigger question might be the defensive tackle position, besides Ndamukong Suh, which you immediately would say, well, who else would it be? Because it's not going to be Nick Fairley. You and I both know that. Who are the other players who were decent at that position? From a Lions perspective, how many other guys could you look at and say, man, those defensive tackles? Was it Corey Williams?
That's a name. Yeah, I don't.
I
don't know, man. That's tough.
Was it Corey Redding? No, it wasn't. Unfortunately, there's not a lot from which to choose. Like Kyle Vanden Bosch as a defensive end, maybe in Tennessee.
Yeah,
but he wasn't that good with the Lions. I thought it was a really good signing when it first happened. I was pretty excited about it. It was a name, you guys. That's what it was, unfortunately. So that's kind of what you're looking at. You're looking at a very Damon Harrison. Damon Harrison is not going to fit the mold. Unfortunately, that's kind of what it's come down to. Let me get to a quick text. Let me see here. Shep, St. Brown has no interest in only talking, catching balls from a jug machine till he got paid. After, it's podcasts and dropping passes. When did he sign his deal?
Wasn't it like before last year? I'll look at it.
When did Amon-Ra St. Brown, when was he named the highest paid wide receiver in football? And just so we know, yes, he had too many drops a year ago.
He signed it on April 24th, 2024.
Okay. In 24, he led the league in first down catches, right? He had 1,200 yards. He had 12 touchdowns. He also had 115 rocks. Last year, he bettered that. He had 117 rocks. He had 1,400 yards. He had 1 fewer touchdown and 10 fewer first.
I want to say he was doing the podcast during the season. Like, he's been doing it for a while now, hasn't he?
I think so.
I think he's been doing it since. I think I remember him I used to watch it every now and again when I got the chance. I feel like he was talking about. I remember the episode where he came on if they lost the game to San Francisco, even. So it's like he's been doing it for a while. So I don't. Yeah. That one does not make any sense to me.
No,
calling him not focused is crazy to me. But
yeah, I would agree with that. Now, I would say this: the comment that he has dropped passes is a fair comment, don't you think?
Yeah. It went up last year. You can't deny that.
Absolutely. When you look at drops, And you notice that he's among the league leaders, even though he wasn't before. I think it's fair to say that there was a little bit of a problem there.
He's the kind of guy though that I obviously, sometimes my daily wager, you might not want to bet with me, but that I would I would say that I would bet on him to turn that around this year. I think he'll put the effort into that, but it's obviously need to see it before anything else happens.
Yeah, I don't know if it's going to matter much to you to hear this. I mean, I think Jamison Williams had more. He had 11 drops. Amon-Ra St. Brown had 10. Brian Thomas Jr. had 10. Jerry Jeudy had 10. I'm not justifying it by any stretch. Do you like Emeka Egbuka? Do you like CeeDee Lamb? Do you like Cortland Sutton, rather? Do you like Tad McMillan? How many's too many? 10 is too many. I don't disagree with that at all. I think you're right about that. I don't think it's because he's podcasting.
No, that's not why.
Okay. So, for example, I mean, Jerry Jeudy's a serious problem. Jerry Jeudy had 10 last year. He had 12 the year before. The year before, I mean, Cortland Sutton's viewed as one of the best. He's had 9 in each of the last 2 years. Jamar Chase is widely viewed as the best wide receiver in football. 2 years ago, he had 9. That was second most in football. So maybe, just maybe, we're taking a very small sample size. That could be. It's kind of like the Miami Marlins. Have you seen their breakdown of them per month? It's incredible. Under 500 every month, except for June when they won 20 games.
It's pretty crazy statistic.
Yes. Yeah, it is a crazy statistic. And yet this is what, are people going to judge him based on that? How are they going to be? I don't know how they're going to judge him, because I wouldn't judge them on that. I'm not judging Amon-Ra St. Brown on the number of drops, even though I don't like him, and I'm not going to blame him on his podcast. Do we know that he's not working with the Jugs gun? Oh, my God, he got engaged. He got engaged the same week as Andy McDonald. How dare him? I don't think it matters. Him doing a podcast does not prevent him.
He's probably distracted by mine, to be honest.
Well, who wouldn't be?
Yeah.
I know I was. Him doing a podcast does not prevent him from catching a ball on Sunday or Thursday night or Monday night. Hell, or Saturday late in the season. You know what I mean? Him dropping passes is problematic, yes, but I'm sure he's working his ass off. Otherwise, he doesn't put up those numbers. Otherwise, he's not considered one of the top 5 wide receivers in football. The texter also says even Sewell said himself he had a bad year. Yes, but the numbers would tell you he had a good year. His numbers would tell you he had a very good year. Shep, who had on their bingo card that J-Mo was a better extension than Kirby Joseph? My guess, not many. Running to pay all your own shouldn't be always applauded as smart. Well, I thought at the time when you're looking at it, I thought it was smart. Guy coming off a really good year. When healthy, he's really good. Who would have predicted that? Who would have predicted the injury, I guess is the question. You were early to extend. Think about who you extended early. Sewell, Hutchinson, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff, Jack Campbell, Aleem McNeil, Kirby Joseph. Who am I missing? And Jamison Williams. How many of those have not worked out?
It's a good question. I guess they've all worked out at a time, it feels like.
Maybe, just maybe, it's Kirby Joseph because
that's what I was going to say. Like, it could be the injury for those two. You could argue maybe if they don't play a lot. Brian Branch, I'm saying too, if they don't play in the future as much, or it does like.
But Brian Branch hasn't been extended.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So that's the difference.
Yeah.
I think it's worked out. Now, we don't know about Campbell yet. I'm going to bet on Jack Campbell.
I am too.
Okay,
I'm not going to get either way. That's the kind of decision where, again, it's all hindsight. If it doesn't work out, like at the time, you're probably loving the decision.
Well, but even forget the hindsight for a minute. Of all those players, how many we named? 7?
Yeah.
One of them didn't work out. And you're telling me that extending them early shouldn't be applauded as smart?
That's
I think I think you extend really good players. That's
right,
what I think.
Exactly.
And they're confident that all those guys are really good players. And by the way, they are if healthy. You could make the argument that they should have known about him and the injury. They didn't. Maybe it's a mistake on their part. I don't know. If they knew, obviously it is. What if they didn't know? What if it's a freak thing? Let's see how Ali McNeil comes back. That's a question mark. I still think Coach Kirby Joseph is a question mark. All the other extensions, those were justifiable, I think. Let's get to the final results of our poll question from yesterday, or from Friday, excuse me, and a new daily wager. We didn't have a daily wager all last week. It's brought to you by Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort and their sportsbook Ascend. Our poll question from Friday regarding the Pistons roster. Is it as good now as it was at the end of last year? Yes or no? How did people vote?
76% of the people said no. So that's a resounding
How would
no.
you vote?
That is
How would
right.
you have voted
I
on
would
that?
probably say no right now.
Because I know when you were on a knee and you were asking if you do and getting engaged, that was one of the things you were looking at. You weren't looking at the speech. You were looking at what's the latest Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort daily
It's all I
wager.
could think about.
There isn't one, but what's the latest Mitch Lyons Wealth poll question of the day? There you go.
That's all I can think about every moment.
I think they're right about that. Our today's Mitch Lyons Wealth poll question: what are the Tigers lacking most? A true closer, relievers, a power right-handed stick, or everyday players? Vote as often as you want at XB Mornings. The results come your way tomorrow. What's the daily wager here today?
Yeah, I'm excited to get back on this trend. Hopefully we keep going in a good direction.
Trend,
yeah, the last 2 days they go better for me last week, so hopefully we'll keep going on that. I'm gonna go with Zach Wheeler to get 8 strikeouts tonight against the Marlins. Surprisingly, they're giving him plus 118 for 8 strikeouts, which is really good odds when you consider the last 4 starts he's had 9 or more, so that's even 1 or more. And the last time he faced the Marlins, he also had 9 strikeouts. So overall, I just like that number.
And it's hard not to like Zach Wheeler.
Exactly. Yeah, you know who he is, that's for sure. But it is funny, Shep. You mentioned I'm trying to find this really quick. Yeah, so you said things I was thinking about while I was gone. I wasn't necessarily thinking about anything else when I was on one knee. But I did see this. So we talked about multiple times how the Tigers have been like a streaky team at times and stuff like that. But a lot of the times it feels like other teams do it too. This is why I feel like Tigers data. I saw this on Twitter while I was out there, and it really stood out to me. The Tigers have had 9 different 1-month stretches where they have been either the best or the worst team in the AL over the last 3 seasons. So 4 times they've been the best in the AL, and 5 times they've been the worst.
Okay, one more time, slowly, for people to
Sure.
digest.
Yeah, I got you.
Over the last 3 seasons.
Yeah. So
4 times they have had a month where they have been the best in the American League.
Yep, and then 5
times they have been the worst that month.
Is that not crazy? I think that is
crazy.
insane. That stat out of all the ones I've seen this year really blew my mind. I've been thinking it to myself. Like I've been thinking that they've been one of the streakiest teams I've ever watched in my lifetime.
Absolutely.
That's insane to hear out loud. Over a month period, you were either the best or the worst over the last 3 seasons that many times. And a lot of these guys in the lineup have been the same.
What do you attribute that to?
It feels like it's a lot of and it sounds dumb to say this. This is where when teams are like hot in baseball, like they're playing like that, these guys really, when they're gelling together, they just find a way to get it done. It feels like when they're not, it feels like they can't get out of their own way and they can't get it out of their own head. It feels like it's almost like more of like a mental thing because they can't seem to figure out if they're
knowing how good their starting pitching is, it tells you it's their offense.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
100%. Definitely the offense. That's what I'm getting at. Their lineup.
Let's give you an idea real quick because they are 50 up and 56 down. In March, not that we should count it's 5 games. They're 2 and 3. Is that a trend? No. Forget about it. Usually people combine the 2 months, March and April. And it makes sense since there's only 5 in March. If you combine the 2, they were 16 and 16. So they're a 500 baseball team. In May, they were 6 and 22. In June, where we rave about what happened, they were only 5 or 4 games over 500 in June. They went 15 and 11. The difference was their pitching was outstanding. It's the lowest runs they've allowed in any of the months this year. In July so far, They are 13-7. Like we're talking about, see, now this tells you, here's the sign. They split with Kansas City. It tells you have to sell. Kansas City, every game was a one-run decision. 12 straight games where it's been decided by 2 runs or fewer. Did you expect anything different? Oh, because Bobby Witt Jr. wasn't in the lineup. I got it. Tigers are missing certain guys too.
Yeah, a lot of people probably weren't.
I mean, Kerry Carpenter's hurt. He's going to get reevaluated. Javier Baez isn't in the lineup, right? We didn't. I mean, too many times people made the mistake of using that as an excuse for the Tigers at some point in May and a little part of June. And then when you play over it, everybody thinks, wow, you're this great baseball team, right? It's about sustainability. Yes, injuries are painful to deal with.
Yeah, but when it's a 3 year, when we're going off that statistic where it's been, 4 times they've been the best, 5 teams have been the worst since that'd be 2024. That's
that's a
tough.
long sample size. That's a big sample size.
Yeah, they're overly streaky. They don't even. It feels like when you see that kind of statistic, they don't know what kind of team they are over and over and over again. So
yeah, it is really strange. If you tell me you can't get by an entire month without getting guys healthy to still stay in a race, it tells me that you're pretty weak in your overall depth, right? I mean, that's common sense. Why can the Yankees get through all this time without Aaron Judge? Why could Cleveland at least doggy paddle its way, staying in second place or sometimes getting even a first place nod for a short period of time without Jose Ramirez, who's been back for a week now? But you understand my point. Every team is dealing with injuries. Guys are finally coming back at certain times, and it helps them, helps their teams, obviously. But there's a lot of teams who are dealing with this. They're able to get through. Why? Because they have depth. And Detroit apparently doesn't. It's nice to see that other teams aren't the only, or other organizations, Detroit organization isn't the only team dealing with a problem of foot in mouth by an athlete. Trey McBride, who's a hell of a tight end, first team All-Pro a year ago. The numbers he put up were eye-popping for what he did at Arizona. All right? He's been a Pro Bowler the last 2 seasons. He was as good as any tight end in football last year. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, you have
I would
to.
hope so.
How would you not agree with that?
Yeah.
No.
He had 126 catches. He had 1,200 plus yards, and he had 11 touchdowns. Really impressive stuff.
With the Cardinals and Jacoby Brissett and everything else. He was that guy. Yeah.
And Jacoby Brissett's holdout apparently paid off. Apparently he's getting a good deal.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what Trey McBride recently said on a podcast. Living in Arizona, no one is from Arizona. It's kind of what they say in Florida, right? Everyone has kind of moved in from another state. So they're all fans of their own team. So you have the Arizona that sits there, and there's no Arizona fans in Arizona. It's a tough deal. Hopefully we start winning some games and we can bring some of those fans back. Do you see that as overly negative?
I mean, it just sounds like the truth to me.
It sounds like the truth to me. That doesn't mean you should always say it, though.
Yeah, no.
Okay. If your good friend has an ugly girlfriend and you say, hey, hey man, your girlfriend's really ugly, you don't say that. Okay.
Yeah, no.
So just because it's true doesn't mean. So he comes back and he says, I shouldn't have said that. I came out wrong. And obviously the fan base is great. We have a tremendous fan base. Arizona's been here, loyal fans, all the sports teams here. And we're very lucky to have all those guys. And we're doing it. We're going to have a great season. We're going to win some games, and we're going to make sure those fans have something to be cheer about and be proud. We're so careful. We got to be so careful with words these days. Athletes, we talked about it last week. Tarek Skubal, Jared Goff in the past. Trey McBride is no different.
Kirby Joseph
in Arizona. Kirby Joseph, getting on social media. Maybe this is to a texter's point. Stop doing podcasts. I don't know. It's funny. Sometimes the truth hurts. It's funny when fans can say it, but if an athlete says it, it's taboo. Good to have Andy back. Thanks for being here. Congratulations again. We're back with you tomorrow morning, 6 o'clock here on X's and Bros, the huge show later on today from 3 till 7. Enjoy your Monday, everybody.
Mitch Lyons here, founder of Mitch Lyons Wealth, where we create your best game plan to protect, grow, and win retirement. I'm here with Tiger legend Kirk Gibson, who we are proud to support and partner with on the newly opened Kirk Gibson Center for Parkinson's Wellness.
Thanks, Mitch. We appreciate your support, and we are excited to have recently opened the center in Farmington Hills. It provides exercise therapy and educational programs that are helping the Parkinson's community, just like Mitch Lyons Wealth helps improve the quality for their clients' retirements. This center helps improve the quality of life for people with Parkinson's.
And Gibby, the best part of all is that access to the center is available to the Parkinson's community free of charge, right?
That's right, absolutely free of charge for people with Parkinson's and their care partners.
You hit a couple of the most famous home runs in Major League history, Gibby, but I feel that your greatest hit will be the positive impact the Kirk Gibson Center is making in the fight against Parkinson's.
Mitch, since my diagnosis, I get up every day and focus on winning that day. This center